Hi, this is Fate Creator. Welcome to the Day 10 video and Post Mortem. I have more to talk about through this video than I thought I would after I made my notes. There's a lot of stuff, so I'll try to get through it quick. Tactically, in Day 10, not a lot happened. Usually that last day is kind of spent just letting everything play out because it takes so long for things to get from one base to the next that there's not a lot going on. A few interesting things that happened, I guess, were P-Money took over Broxo's mine up here. Oh, by the way, since the game's over, we can now see everything. One little detail there. And for me, I just kind of sat back and tried to look menacing, I guess. I wasn't in a position to take any more territory. I could have possibly grabbed a couple things from Dane if I'd gone all out, but there was just enough time left that I would have been vulnerable. Potentially, anyway. So I just didn't. And the way that the Neptunium was playing out, it looked like if everything went as it was already set, I would barely hold on to third place. P-Money was just a little too far behind to catch up, even with all the mines and everything else he was developing. Although I do have to say that there are games where it's played down to the last second, and I mean that literally. I had a game a few months back where it was extremely close, and I was in. This was before the medal system, so there was no first, second, third. It was first or nothing. And I was in second place literally until the last tick. It was 10 minutes left to go in the game. I was in second place, and at the buzzer, I pulled into first place by like one or less Neptunium. It was really close. I think I won on rounding errors or something. It was so close. So there are times when it really matters. I've had other games where my Alliance members decided, well, I'm just gonna, it doesn't really matter anymore, so I'm just gonna send everything at you. And I think that was probably maybe just been an excuse, but the last day can matter. Although usually things are pretty well set, especially if there's a large lead. There's just nothing you can do to come back unless you can take somebody's mine. And so sometimes you want to make sure you're in a position to do that to prolong the game if you need to. Excuse me. So my primary goal on that last day, once I saw how the Neptunium was shaking out, was two things, and Broxo helped me with this a great deal. We didn't work very closely on it. He was in a better position to execute the plan than I was. So basically, the goal was to decrease or hold P-Money's total base count as much as possible. And increase Dane's. So because if Dane's base count increased, that would make the game end quicker and give P-Money less time to catch up with Neptunium. And of course, limiting his P-Money's base count also slowed him down a little bit. So there were some attacks coming in from Dane that Broxo not only allowed but facilitated, made sure they would happen. Dane would win them just to speed him up that little bit. And in the end, I'll just zip forward a bit. That one of those bases I'm talking about is right here with Shasta, where he let him take it. Right here at the end, P-Money got a little fancy with the polygons. Interestingly, it used to be that there was no limit to the number of orders you could set, but after you crossed, I think it was 128 or 129, the whole game would crash. So they put a hard limit on those. I found that one out accidentally. We were coming into the last few minutes of a game, and I was making these spiral patterns and crashed the whole thing. They had to pause the game for a couple days and fix it. That was probably 7 or 8 months ago. But if we get into the end here, final minutes, Dane won. And I can't pull up the screen that shows you the finals, but Key came in second, and I came in third. If there had been another 6 or 10 hours, I probably would have come in fourth. So it would end up being pretty close. And that early mine ended up being the difference between me coming in third and fourth. So it ended up working out somewhat in my favor, but I made other mistakes along the way. I'm kind of curious at this point, actually, with P money. Is it P money, or is the P silent like pneumonia? So it's just money? Or is it money? I've never asked him. Well, I guess I'm not that curious. So, for the Post Mortem, what did we learn? Several things. First, positioning on a 7-player map is more important than on an even number player map. And that could also hold true on a 5 or a 9. I think I've played on a 9 before, but I don't think I've played on a 5. So that big gap in the middle ends up being very important. So if you're close to it, an aggressive plan may play out well. If you're not close to it, then you probably need to be more diplomatic. I also learned that I might have been better off with my specialist selections being just straight out more aggressive than trying to do clever combos. Sometimes those combos work out really well, but usually only, well, what I was doing anyway is usually only good after you're in a good position and you need to defend a good position. But I was never in a very good tactical position. I made some other mistakes that kind of caused me problems there. Let's see. Oh, there goes a USA Today article somebody just messaged me about. The other thing is that it's probably a bad idea to structure your strategy and specialist selections around a glitch. Now, I didn't know it was a glitch at the time because it's something that me and other players have been using for months, like 10 months. So I didn't know that it was not an interaction that was planned. But it's fixed now, so I can't use it anymore anyway. So don't hang your hat on glitches because they will get fixed. Let's see. The rest of it comes down to alliances. I think they need to be chosen more carefully. I've evolved my plan around alliances for a while now, and this one turned out not to work very well. It was kind of experimental with choosing alliances on both sides, in an effort to try and free up territory to get into the middle, but it didn't work out, and you end up with different types of alliances. You have the ones like Pomanis and Danes, where they may even know each other outside of the game. They play so closely that they may as well be one player. And one player with that many resources is dangerous. So while it's something that you should always look to achieve yourself, it's also something to be wary of if your opponents have it. And so if you recognize that kind of pattern, trying to build up a quick coalition to keep them in check may be a good idea for the long-term health of that session for you. At the same time, you're going to have to trust somebody really deeply in order to have the same kind of alliance that they do. And they always play together, so they've either developed this over time, or they know each other, or maybe Pomani has compromising pictures of Dane or something, possibly relating to the 69 in his name. But in any case, that's something to try and achieve and also be wary of in others. And maybe it's possible to develop small tests. I think that they have one of the things that they do quite a lot is catapulting off of pirates, where they would send out a single driller that the other one can see that allows the pirate to zip across the map in order to move resources very quickly. And that may actually be a very safe way to test someone's alliance. Use the pirate maneuver as a way to test their strength, as a way to test their willingness to help you. Not foolproof, of course, but it may be more reliable than the ones like that I ended up establishing with Road and Key. In the case of Key, he was a good ally in the fact that he wasn't going to attack me, but he was a terrible ally in the fact that he wasn't going to attack anybody. He played the role of pacifist the entire time, and about halfway in I realized that I'd played with him before and he'd done the same thing. So he wants to play this game, but he wants to only win through passivity, not through any kind of aggression at all. So that's usually not going to work out for him. Sometimes it will. It depends on the alliances he makes. But if he makes alliances where they're demanding action, those allies are not going to be very happy with him. In the case of Road, he was a good ally, but he's also probably the most typical ally in that he's someone that you can rely on initially, but when you threaten his win, or when you are in the way of him expanding, he will cancel the alliance. So Road's a very good ally in that respect because he did give warning, kind of, ultimately. There was some conflict around some bases where he attacked me unprovoked and decided that that didn't count because he had eliminated the unloginable. But we worked that out, and primarily because but normally in a situation like that, I would consider that to be a broken alliance, and I would I would then go into that territory. I would say, free game. But in this case, I wasn't strong enough to, so it was in my best interest to maintain the alliance, even though I felt like I could trust him less. He ended up giving me 24 hours notice, which is good. That's what you look for, honesty, at least. I knew it was coming. And then I was able to get into a position where he had a hard time taking things. My strategy there obviously wasn't as good as it could have been. Then you have alliances like Braxo, where we had nothing declared. I've played this game with him probably 3 or 4 times in the past, but he was a very good ally in that we worked very closely together, shared a lot of information. We almost didn't share a border. I mean, we did a little bit, but not very much. So we didn't really directly threaten one another, but we had a lot of common enemies, and that made us good allies. He made it fun to play the game because I had somebody that was very interactive, and he's also very good at the game and good on strategy. So that made a big difference in terms of quality of play. So let's see. I don't think I have anything else more to share really. See if let's see his little pattern here. We can see how it plays out. Very nice. So yeah, I don't know if I'm going to do more of these videos. Maybe if the developers ask me to, we'll see. I hope this one wasn't too long for you. I know it's very long, and I hope you liked the video series. It was one of the more interesting games that I've done, although frustrating. And yeah, I guess that's about it. Thanks for watching.